Good morning, dear students, parents, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the live talk by Dr. James Edward Walsh, the Director of Center for Pre-U. Before we begin, let me brief you on the housekeeping rules to ensure that the talk goes on smoothly. Your mics will be muted. If you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A panel and we will get back to you during the Q&A session. So without further ado, let's welcome Dr. James Edward Walsh. Dr. Walsh?
Hi, Kana. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. And as Kana said, we're going to have a brief talk today on the Foundation in Science program in IMU, which is your direct pathway to our undergraduate studies, hopefully. I'm Dr. James Walsh, the Director of Pre-University Studies, and I also teach physics and computing science on the course. To go through some of the details, we're going to share more rigorous details with you later in our brochure and obviously on our website, on our Facebook page, there's lots of information. It's a one-year program, and this year in 2021, the intakes are in March, July, and August, and it basically dovetails into when you might get your IGCSE or your SPM results. And then these intakes are synchronized with key undergraduate intakes in 2022. So it's the most direct in terms of time and calendar way to get to the undergraduate programs in IMU. Whereas if you're doing some other pre-U, like A-level, for example, you have to wait till the date when those results come out. I will compare it to A-level because obviously it's the gold standard in terms of pre-U worldwide, but it's largely similar academically. One of the key differences is there are 3 semesters with 5 subjects in each semester. So it's much broader based. We still have the core, say, biology, chemistry, and physics or maths that you require to go to, say, medicine or dentistry. But there are also professional modules. We try and teach you broadly so you develop lots of soft skills, IT skills, thinking skills, psychology. English is very important because English is the language through which science is taught in IMU. So it's broader based, but the core sciences are based on the A-level syllabus and contain about 80 to 90% of the A-level course. So you have more than sufficient science in the areas of chemistry and biology in particular when you enter the undergraduate programs. And Foundation in Science students do just as well progressing through the undergraduate programs as A-level students. So there's academically no difference if you have the good grades coming in. The other key difference is Foundation in Science is 50% assessment based and 50% by exam. So unlike doing a large exam at the end of a study period of 2 years or 18 months, depending on what course you might do, such as A-levels, you gradually build up your score and your entry CGPA that's required for your undergraduate program throughout the 3 semesters and at the end of semester exams. So for example, Biology 1 in semester 1 will have 2 tests during the semester, which constitute about 25% of the 50% for continuous assessment. And we'll also have 5 laboratories. And if you write up those laboratories well and do as you're instructed, and engage in the labs, be they online or face-to-face, you should have a considerable grade going into your end of semester exam. You should have hopefully 40 over 50%, which means that in order to get a good grade, you don't need to score very high in the exam, but if you want to get an A, if you get 40 in the exam, 40 plus 40 will be 80 and A. So the continuous assessments are key. And the reason we do it this way is that's the way undergraduate course is based. In medicine, for example, or dentistry, there are 5 years with 10 semesters, 2 per year. And in medicine, the first 3 semesters are completely by continuous assessment. So there's a lot of management of your assessments and your scores and gradually building up your grade in order to become a doctor. And Foundation in Science starts this process and teaches you how to manage your education and your grades. We also have bursaries and scholarships. For example, depending on the number of A's you have in your IGCSE in key subjects or SPM, you get a discount. And then all students who progress onto our undergraduate programs will have 50% of their fees reimbursed to them, 50% of the fees they paid for foundation in science, reimbursed in prorated in your undergraduate fees. And it's not dependent on the CGPA you get, all it's depending on is whether you're qualified for your course in question. We'll have more details on that later. And there are terms and conditions that apply. So what does your IMU Foundation in Science award get you into? The 12 health science degrees in IMU are partner tracks. Sometimes parents and students think that the foundation doesn't qualify you to go on our partner tracks. That is where you do half your degree here in IMU in Malaysia, and you finish it off in one of our partner track countries, such as Australia, New Zealand, the UK, Scotland, Ireland, where I'm from. So it does qualify you for that. And you can use it as direct entry to other universities in Malaysia. Many of our students go to other universities, maybe to change the topic. They figure out that health science is not what they want to do. They want to do engineering or business, etc. Or they might go to another university with a lower fee structure. And we also have students now using foundation in science to go internationally directly to competitors. But that's not an agreement we formally have with these universities. That's on a case-by-case basis, and you have to negotiate that. But our formal agreement is with our partner track. So if you want an international qualification, we obviously recommend you do our partner track. And there's good reasons for that. The first 2 years, 2.5 years are at the local fee structure. And also while you're younger, you're here in Malaysia. And then when you're older and more mature, you get on a plane to our foreign partner. And currently at this time of uncertainty due to COVID, it's a good thing to stay home because we're restricted. Our travel is restricted by the pandemic. But for the 12 IMU Health Science degree options, 85% of our foundation in science students generally progress onto them. And this is not a target we set or construct. The students get there on their own merits. The teaching and learning gets them the grades required. The mentoring supports them and advises them on the best path there. If their grades are slipping, we mentor them a lot in order to get them back on track. So this 85% progression is not a figure that comes from us. It comes from the students' ability and their desire and their hard work to get onto degrees. The other 15% go to universities abroad or change their topic, as I said, to engineering or something completely different. And some students just find that science is not for them. They're doing the wrong thing. So we have lots of students from different pre-university courses entering our degrees, A-level, IB, OSMAT, but nearly a third of them come from foundation in science. And the advantage they have is while they're in foundation in science, they get briefings on the IMU degree programs while they're in semesters 1 and 2, typically. So if they say they wanted to do medicine, but then they realize, hang on, no, I'm not actually that interested in medicine. What's biomedical science about? They will get a briefing on that. And if they're changing their mind about their degree choice and their future career in conjunction with their parents, they will make an informed decision. And if parents or students ask me, can I talk to the professor or the associate dean of this faculty, Chiro, or Chinese medicine, or medical biotech or pharmacy, we can put you in touch with these people and get the detailed information face to face, something that external pre-university studies don't necessarily have access to. In addition, after you finish your semester 2 exams, you still have to complete at semester 3. If your CGPA is sufficient, that is, you get the qualifying CGPA for medicine, it's 3.5, then you can apply for your seat in medicine, do your interviews while you're in semester 3, and assuming all goes well in semester 3, usually students carry on their grade throughout the 3rd semester, they don't drop considerably unless something is seriously wrong, then you can secure your place. External pre-university students cannot secure their place until they have that final transcript in their hands. We also have support from foundation and science students, we call them buddies, who are in our degree programs, have experienced the rigors of foundation in science and how it prepared them for the degree that they're in, chiropractic, pharmaceutical chemistry, psychology, medicine, and they can say, focus on this, take this elective in semester 3, advise them from a student's perspective, from a mature student's perspective. And students find this very useful. I personally haven't done the Foundation in Science program and gone on to one of the IMU degrees, obviously, because I qualified long before I came to the university. But the student buddies have experienced it, and they can help the students in a direct, peer-informed way. So back to the program structure. 3 semesters, 5 subjects in each semester. Each subject is further subdivided into 50% assessment, 50% exam. There are electives in semester 3. So for example, if you want to do pharmacy, you should be considering chemistry 3. It's not a prerequisite, but the Dean of Pharmacy would want to know why you avoided chemistry 3 if you want to be a pharmacist. Psychology, obviously, for a psychology degree, but they're all relevant to all of our degrees. All of these topics from which you pick 2 have relevance to your degree. In the case of certain degrees like dentistry, in addition to having the qualifying CGPA as per our brochure, you also need to have an average grade of B in the core sciences, biology, chemistry, and in our case, mathematics, because we don't do that much physics. It's applied physics for health science. So the way you build up your grade is the average of the grade for chemistry 1, 2, and 3. So what's the advantage of that compared to other pre-U courses? Let's say chemistry 1 went badly. You were settling in, you didn't study as well as you could, you're adapting to the new way of life, but you're very good at chemistry, and you get a B- in chemistry 1. Chemistry 2, semester 2, you're more settled, everything's going great, your mentor is supporting you, and you're getting the grades that you're capable of. Let's say you get a B+ in chemistry 2, then you have a B-, B+, you have the average required B. Just make sure you get a B or higher in semester 3. So again, it's about managing your education with the support of your peers, the mentors, your teachers, and your parents. We're all part of a team to get you to where you want to be after semester 3 to your chosen degree program. So what are the factors leading to this success? A well-designed curriculum. I said it's based on A-level. It gives you the required scientific and soft skill sets to be successful in your degree. You can talk to the buddies about this. Thorough exposure to our degree programs, so you can make an informed decision. You're going to do the degree that you chose to study because you know what it's all about, you know what the pathway into a future career and what the job prospects are like here in Malaysia or abroad. Extensive pastoral care and mentoring. We put lots of emphasis. I personally have about 20 mentees, and I spend a lot of time talking to them and supporting them when results come out, when they're disappointed, or cheering them on when their results are going well. So to make sure that you know you have someone looking out for you and guiding you through your education. You're not on your own. Strong team of dedicated teachers like Kanaga, who's one of our biology lecturers, and well qualified in teaching in the Foundation in Science manner. That is a combination of school-based teaching, which you're used to, but also changing your mindset to university-based teaching, which is more self-determined. So we'll gradually change the way you learn so that you will become self-learning, hopefully by the time you reach the undergraduate program. Regulations and procedures as per the student handbook. Read it, it's your handbook. The regulations and procedures apply to us, your teachers, as well as you. So many students don't read the student handbook and don't know the metrics of the course. It's very important. And share it with your parents. They're also part of the team. The teaching is aligned with the undergraduate methodology. I mentioned earlier assessments and exams. So that when you go into the undergraduate program, you're used to that style of learning, what we call experiential learning, as we'll see in a minute. Student life, okay, so student life and engaging in IMU cares or community projects and continuous lifelong learning and a work-life balance. These are all part of university life. It has been constrained somewhat by online teaching. Foundation in Science lends itself very well to online teaching because there isn't that much skills-based teaching in it. But obviously student life is now online. But the students themselves have come up with initiatives where they have chat groups, forums, etc. So you guys are very savvy in social media. So even though the pleasure of having lunch Being in the university, seeing your friends has been constrained. Hopefully by the time the 2021 intakes come in, vaccines are kicking in and things will be better. But student life and a work-life balance that is working hard, but also having relaxation time where the knowledge that you study is absorbed into your brain is very important. So we'll also mentor you in that regard. I've mentioned already the coursework exam. I put this up because it's super important. It's if, for example, you have a week's subject, let's say you want to do psychology, but chemistry is not your favorite subject, and you have to do chemistry 1 and 2, and you're struggling a bit, or you're concerned about having to do chemistry, which is compulsory, make sure you do well in your coursework. If your initial assessments are weak, go and talk to your mentor, find out what you need to do to make the remaining assessments strong so that you get a good grade in your coursework. So there's not too much pressure on you in the exam. For example, let's say you got 40 over 50 in your coursework. Then if the exam went badly, hopefully it doesn't, and you get 20 over 50 in your exam, then you have a total of 60 over 100, 60%, which is a B minus. Not a bad grade for a subject that you find difficult and that you're afraid of to a certain extent. So engage in these courses and figure out ways to be successful in all of the subjects. When you go to your undergraduate program, there's many, many more topics you're going to learn over the 3 to 5 years of your undergraduate degree, some of which you'll embrace and love, and some which you just have to get through as they're part of your education. Hopefully you embrace and love them all. So I mentioned the different ways of learning. It's different to school. We have self-directed learning, not day one. We will teach you in the first semester and gradually evolve to a more what we call lecturing style, passing on the information to you. You'll learn through project work, presentations, writing reports, making sure your English, your technical English is good. So if English is not your first language and you need to write a biology report or essay, if your standard of your English is low, therefore the standard of your biology will be low. So you need to improve your English. So this is all called experiential learning. Lots of different ways of learning, not just one big exam at the end of a period of study. There are class tests in the assessments, the end of semester exams, practicals, reports, assignments. So choose the method of assessment that you favor and score very high in that. And if there's other areas that you find you're weak in, talk to your mentor, try and maximize your grades in those. But for example, the aforementioned practicals in chemistry and biology. Just write up your practical reports, attend the practical either online or face-to-face, and you should get an A grade if you follow the instructions. So therefore you will have, in the case of the practicals for biology, 25 over 50. So manage all of these assessments to make sure you get there. It's 3 intakes a year. The March intake then will dovetail into our degree entries next year. So if you start in March this year, you will be able to enter dentistry or medicine or chiro and some of our other degrees, I believe, in April next year. It says the intake is in February, but that's for external students coming in from A-level, and they do their government MPU subjects for 6 weeks, waiting for the foundation students to join in April. So you can join the April intake of medicine next year, or you can wait until the August intake. The July intake then dovetails into the August-September, or if you're doing dentistry, you will have to wait till the following April because there's only 1 intake for dentistry. Likewise, the August intake will make it in September 2022. Even though it says it's the August intake of medicine, it's delayed for foundation students. So I mentioned again, one of the advantages of foundation science is it's articulating well into our degrees. So you can have a smooth progression into your undergraduate education with no large breaks if you so wish. Please check out our Facebook page and like it, both parents and students. We have about over 400 students at the moment. This is a snapshot of most of them with the lecturers and myself in the middle. It's fun, it's not all study. So the Facebook page is elements of teaching and learning, information, fun activities, student achievements, etc. So have a look at that because you'll get an idea of the lifestyle of the students who have been or are in the course. So please take a look and like it. Feel free to contact us. I'm giving you my contact details. You may want to screenshot this page. You can email me anytime. Email is best because then I can formally write back to you and loop in anybody else you wish to talk to, like someone from the faculty or the admissions department, or if you're an international student from the visa department. You can also message me on my hand phone, but that tends to be more one-on-one. If you do email me, I will always reply. Likewise, Ms. Kanaga, who's our program director, she will respond to your emails and we will CC each other. So we're there to pick up the information. So any information you want, we will provide and give you a clear understanding of the course. For admissions and entry information, we will tell you what the requirement is, but double check it with the admissions department because there are terms and conditions for certain things like bursaries and scholarships. So always get it in writing, no matter what university you're thinking of applying to, say this is the regulation, this is the requirement. But our brochure is pretty clear in this regard, and I believe it's being posted up during this talk. So I believe we're going to start our Q&A session. So thank you for your time. I hope I was reasonably clear and not too fast. Usually these talks are face-to-face, so it's a little bit impersonal in the online mode, but I hope I've got the message across. And please note that you can also join our open day on the 24th of January, where myself and my colleagues and the marketing team and faculty staff will be there to further answer your questions. Thank you very much. I hope I was clear, Kana. No
thank you,
online
Dr.
glitches.
James. Yes, for the very clear and detailed talk on Foundation in Science. Okay, yes, I would like to again remind everyone that please join us for our virtual open day on 21st January, okay, where we will be able to meet the lecturers. You can ask them questions, and there's also been application waiver for registration fee and application fees. So yes, please join us on 24th of January. So Dr. James, I think it's time for Q&A session. So there's one question here
Great.
by a student. Okay, there's no name. Will the March 2021 intake start online?
Okay, that's a good question.
Yes.
I look at the numbers every day from the government, and I'm hoping they're going to go down. I can't predict it, but even if the campuses are open, we have a lot of students in Foundation if it's a big intake. So elements of it will start online if the MCO is over, because initial lectures, etc., are just introductory. We don't want to risk your health. But if the pandemic is over and everybody's safe, then for sure it will start online. If we're in a mixed mode where we can have certain classes face-to-face and certain online, we will have key elements such as laboratories and skills-based classes face-to-face. But where it can be taught efficiently online, we will do so for your own health and welfare. Now, a lot of students are afraid of online teaching because they feel they'll suffer and their grades will be lower or they won't be able to engage in it. And I understand that totally coming in, particularly last year's intake. MCO happened just as they joined. But I'm happy to say that the end of semester CGPA, the average grade for the class, that was 200 in April last year, was no different statistically to the average grade for the previous intake 2019 that were obviously face-to-face. There was no pandemic. So Foundation in Science lends itself well to online teaching. You just have to be more disciplined and engage in the classes and engage in the content because you're not physically in a room being pushed by us. But personally, I miss seeing the students day to day. I miss the interaction and the fun of lecturing, although I try to make my online lectures fun. What I would suggest you do if you have a concern about online teaching is talk to some of our buddies. You can talk to me and I can loop you in with current students or students who finished online already last year. And hopefully they can reassure you that they got the CGPA or the grade that they required. Because Foundation is a pathway, it's not a qualification in itself. So if your CGPA is sufficient and your grade is what you hoped it to be, whether it be it face-to-face or online, then no matter, you're in your degree. We obviously favor face-to-face teaching where allowed by the government for medicine because you have to do clinical skills, etc. So hopefully it's face-to-face, but if not, don't worry. I believe the standard of our online teaching is excellent, but you can talk to some students to get affirmation of that. Okay, Kana?
Thank you, Dr. James. This was very clear. So there's another question. Is the March intake open for SPM 2020 students? Yeah, this is one
Yeah, great
important
question.
quiz. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, great. This has been keeping me awake at night. Great question. So the answer is yes. Normally you cannot take students on forecast or trial results. But this year we have written to the ministry and they have said we can take you on forecast and trial. Some schools have finished their forecast or finished their trial, so you can send in those results with your application to our admissions department, and then you will enter the course pending your final results. So if, for example, you require 5 Bs in your SPM to do medicine, hopefully you get 5 Bs in your final exam. If you didn't, then you would have to do a repeat next autumn and fix that, but hopefully that's not the issue. But we did do a survey of students this year, the 400 students we have, and I asked them how did their forecast or trial results compare to their final results. And they said, most of them said that their 75% said that their final results were better than their forecast results. So the risk of going in on your forecast results and then saying, oh, well, maybe my grades might be lower and I mightn't be qualified is not that great. The teachers are very good with the forecast. They know you well. Your trial exams are organized well. So the answer is yes, very much so. Once you have your forecast, get it in writing from your school and please send it into admissions as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you, Dr. James. So we have another question. Have your foundation students already graduated with their degree?
Yes,
Oh, yes.
the foundation program started in 2014. So the longest degrees we have are medicine and dentistry. So they're 5 years. So graduates began to emerge from the course from the 3-year courses about 2 to 3 years ago.
Yes.
We had one of our students recently, Sean, he graduated from dentistry and he came in the top 2 in his class, I believe. And he's a spokesman for the university. And he's a great example of students who chose foundation as their route to dentistry. He was one of the first foundation students to go to dentistry. So we do have what are called alumni who came through the foundation route, and we can put you in touch with them. Obviously, they're no longer on the IMU email system, but we have their private emails. So the answer is yes. Also, we check the grades of foundation students in undergraduate programs, first year, second year, third year degree, and we compare them to the other pre-U entrants like A-level, IB, and there's statistically no difference. And in fact, the foundation students do statistically better than certain pre-U courses coming in. So the skill sets that we hopefully provide you with in foundation set you up well for success in your degree, providing you work hard.
Yes, Dr. James. I think we also have a medical student who's already doing her housemanship in UKM. Yeah, hospital.
Evelyn, is it?
Felicity.
Oh, Felicity, yeah. And Felicity
Yes.
was the head of the Student Representative Council. So Felicity, that's great, good example, kind of.
Yeah.
She was the head of our Students' Union, our Student Representative Council, and is an all-round ambassador for IMU as a whole. And she was one of our very first foundation students. So yes, Felicity is another great example. Thanks, Kana. That's a good example.
Yeah, thank you. The other question from Kashwina. Can an arts stream student take foundation in science if they want to pursue a pathway in pharmacy?
Unfortunately not. The requirements for foundation for pharmacy, medicine and dentistry is you must have 5 Bs in your SPM or IGCSE, and those Bs must be in the 3 core science subjects, the pure, not the combined science. So you must have individual biology, chemistry and physics, maths or add maths, and one other subject, English. If you wanted to do psychology or biomedical science, then you must have 5 credits, and that must include at least 2 science subjects. So you'd have to have bio and chemistry or bio and physics minimum, plus maths, plus 2 other subjects. And actually the only degree, if you went and did a foundation in arts, for example, and then came back to us, hopefully, or foundation in business. The only degree program we have at the moment that accepts art stream students or non-science stream students is our psychology degree, but we're introducing our new bachelor's in digital health, which is going to be rolled out later this year. And it's an exciting prospect for the university. We're getting into the whole area of digital science from a health science perspective. And that course will also take art stream students. And we are also investigating setting up our own foundation course that's non-science stream, but that won't be for a year or so. But if you want specific information on that, please send me an email and I'm happy to talk to you in that regard.
Okay, Dr. James. So the next question, do you take in international students, and when do classes start for the March intake?
Oh, okay. Yes, about 10% of our students are international from all over the world. Obviously, I'm involved in international recruitment, being international myself. Under the MCO, we had international students studying online from countries all over the place who've never actually been in Malaysia, and they're doing fine, barring the time difference. So in March, the intake is in the last week of March, so the first week of April. So the last week of March and first week of April will be our orientation. And then we will start teaching in the second week in April. That will be semester 1, week 1. So for example, one of the advantages of our excellently designed online teaching is if an international student is delayed getting here because of visa or quarantine issues, I think I know what you're asking, then you can engage online. So one of the advantages of the switch to online teaching that the unfortunate COVID situation started is that international students don't have to be here on the ground day one. In the past, international students might arrive 2 or 3 weeks late and would have to try and catch up on the old format of teaching. But now you have the advantage that you can engage in the online teaching basically for as long as you like. Even if we go back fully face-to-face, it is the university's intention to have dual mode for students who cannot be here for various reasons. I hope that answers your question. If you wish to talk to some of our Foundation in Science buddies who are international from the Middle East or Myanmar or the Indian subcontinent, I can give you some names if you want to email me, so you can talk to them.
Okay, thank you, Dr. James. I think there's those who have missed about the intake or the application with their forecast results. They asked again, can students apply for admissions with their trial results and apply for scholarship with their SPM results? And there's also another question on IGCSE. Since the results is still pending, when is the closing date for the application for Foundation in Science?
Okay, great questions. Okay, yeah. Yes, you can apply with your forecast result. Your scholarship, I believe, you can check this, our scholarships are not based on your forecast, they're based on your final results. So your scholarship will be pending. So for example, if you had 7 A's in your forecast and you ended up getting 8 A's in your final, then you would be entitled to a greater scholarship. Yes, there is no closing date for application. We take applicants up to week 2 of semester 1, so until early to mid-April. So if you apply now, let's say you have your forecast results, and you're worried about what your final grades can be, you can accept your place in Foundation. If you withdraw you can accept the application and you can enroll in the course, pay the fees. You can say, I'm a bit worried, I don't want to accept the offer letter now and pay the fees, I'll wait again. Then you can wait until you maybe get your final forecast, or you're still waiting for some details to come in, and you can reapply. And assuming the course is not full, Foundation is never filled up, we have class sizes up to 200 plus, you can reapply again. So if there are reasons why you want to reject the initial offer letter, good reasons, and you want to reapply again, generally students have no problem. But let me know, so I know you're in the loop. So at the moment, the course is not full. It's still very much open. If you're delaying your application until it's getting closer to April, you're free to email me and say, hi, Dr. James, I'm delaying for whatever reasons, family reasons, whatever reasons they might be. And you can say, is the course full yet? Am I going to be shut out? And I'll keep you in the loop on that. And admissions also will let you know. But there is a risk involved in delaying your application because maybe 100 students might appear and fill up the course. But to date, we've never rejected a student because the course has been full. In undergraduate, it's different because there's a license number. So for dentistry, it's 50 local track dentists plus 75 more partner track. In the 2 medical intakes, it's 200. So if you delay your application or your acceptance of the offer letter, the course might fill up and you might end up on a waiting list. But so far, this has not happened in Foundation. But if a lot of people come in and the course is oversubscribed, then it could happen. But I'll keep you in the loop if you want to keep in touch with me with my email address.
Thank you,
Is that
Dr.
okay, Kenna?
James. Yes. So if students are to know about terms to apply to the university, I think we have shared the brochures, so they can just download the link from the link.
They're
Okay.
on the link. Yeah.
There's the other question: is IMU FIS recognized by other local or public or private or public universities?
Okay.
And there's also another one: is Foundation in Science recognized as the qualification for application to other overseas universities?
Okay.
Okay.
So obviously, with 85% progression, the primary route for Foundation is into our local track and our partner track. So if you want an international degree, we recommend you go via our partner route, and we can give you the details on that. There's many good reasons why this is the case. But the answer is yes, we do have students who go to other science and medical colleges in Malaysia for various reasons. Maybe their grade is requirement is low, they're too low for the IMU grade requirement, or fee structure is different. So yes, we do have students every year. Of the 15% who do not come onto IMU, about 5 to 7% go to other local universities. A very small percentage go directly abroad, usually about maybe 5 to 10 students each year from a total of 400. For example, we had 2 students who applied directly to the College of Surgeons in Dublin via Penang Medical School, and they used the IMU Foundation program to go. But it's not a formal agreement. We don't have a formal agreement with our college. You have to go and be accepted on your own merits. And obviously the CGPA requirement is very high. If you want to have complete flexibility, that is, you can go anywhere in the world and you don't have to tell them what Foundation in Science is, and then obviously A-level is a better qualification because it's international. But A-level is currently constrained by COVID and the issuing of results by the IGCSE and the nature, or the Cambridge or Oxford, and the nature of the exams. So one of the advantages of Foundation is that when MCO kicked in last year, we were able to readjust our academic calendar, and medicine did likewise. So even though there was an MCO delay in the course, it did not delay you progressing onto our local or partner track courses. But yes, you can apply locally and you can apply abroad, but there's more risk involved and it's on a case-by-case basis. We'll support you where we can, but our favorite model obviously is local and partner track in IMU.
Dr. James. So this is another question on housemanship in Malaysia. So the student asked if whether to pursue medicine after school or medicine, how long do I have to wait to do the housemanship in Malaysia?
Oh, okay. That's
okay.
Yeah. That's a tricky question. It depends on the situation, but I'll give you an answer. And you can email me and I can loop in the medical faculty, Dr. Sunil, or some of his colleagues there who can reassure you on this. Typically, the housemanship is achieved between 6 months and a year. But the way housemanships are given out is it depends on your contacts and how long you've been in the business. IMU have been graduating medical students for over 25 years. So we've been placing our students on housemanship, and the government are aware of our students and the numbers of students we have. So we have an inherent advantage in that regard. Some of the newer medical schools are obviously new to the scene. They're getting housemanships for the first time, and I hope and pray that it all goes well for them. But they're behind us, if you like, in the queue for housemanships. but there's never been an issue. Some students will reject a housemanship if it's not in their hometown, like Klang Valley, if it's in East Malaysia or Kota Baru or somewhere. That's a bad idea. Take it wherever it's applied. So, but generally speaking, there's no major delays. I know you read about this in the papers a lot, but I can definitely put you in touch with the placement officer and they can give you some indications. But there are forces outside our control, obviously, in this, the government placement in hospitals, the number of graduates. But the key metric is we've been doing this for 25 years. We're one of the oldest private medical schools in Malaysia, so we have a lot of experience in this, and it generally goes pretty well. But nothing is, I'm talking about a situation in 6 years' time, 1 year of foundation and 5 of medicine. So don't come back and quote me 6 years from now to say it was guaranteed. But all things going well, IMU is very good at getting housemanships for their students.
Yeah,
I hope
Dr.
that
James.
answers your
Okay,
question.
there's a few more questions on medicine actually.
Mhm.
Okay, if I only have 4 Bs but I want to study medicine, can I
Yep.
join foundation in science? And the other is to be a doctor in Malaysia, we need SPM cert. Will there be Malay classes arranged for us?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
That's a very, very good question. The first one is you must have the 5 Bs in the 3 science subjects, biology, chemistry, maths, or physics, maths, or add maths, and one other. So if you enter foundation without the required 5 Bs, then you must register for a repeat exam of IGCSE or SPM, whichever it may be, and ensure that you get the 5th B or the requirement. You can combine your certs. If there's a risk in that, if you get a C again, I hope and pray you don't. If you get a C, then you're kind of stuck. So there's a route, there's other routes out of that. So for example, if you weren't qualified for medicine based on your SPM or IGCSE results at the end of foundation, you could do a biomedical science degree in 3 years, and you could use that degree to enter a graduate medical program. So you could enter the IMU degree as a graduate. It takes obviously 3 years longer, but that's a route. The alternate route is you don't do foundation in science, and I'll give you the straight answer. You do something like A-level, because if you look at our minimum entry requirements, it's only for foundation and the government matriculasi and asasi that you need to have the 5 Bs. For other pre-U courses, if you score the required 3B average in A-level, BBB in biology, chemistry, maths or physics, then it doesn't matter what you got in your IGCSE or SPM. So it precludes it. It's just for foundation and matriculasi and asasi that you need the 5 Bs. And that requirement doesn't come from IMU. That's not our rule. That's the rule of the Dental Council, the Medical Council, and the Pharmacy Board. So that's outside of our remit. There's nothing we can do about that. However, if you got a C in biology or a C in chemistry, you need to figure out, most students who go on to medicine, dentistry, pharmacy are getting A's in chemistry, or B at least. So you need to figure out academically how you're going to cope up on what went wrong. That's my main concern as a teacher. Why did it go badly? Why did you not get a B in this core subject? And how are you going to fix it? And we will help you with that as best as possible. When you're doing the repeat exam, don't forget you will probably have done a semester or 2 of that subject in foundation, which is building upon your SPM or IGCSE. So hopefully the exam goes well, but nothing is guaranteed. Furthermore, the second question was SPM. Yes, if you did IGCSE, and even if you did IGCSE Bahasa and you got an A, it doesn't qualify you to do the housemanship in Malaysia. You have to do SPM Bahasa before you go on your housemanship. You cannot do your housemanship and fully graduate as a doctor or a dentist. And I think in the case of pharmacy, you can't enter the program. Admissions can clarify that. So yes, you have to do SPM Bahasa. You have to register for the SPM exams. You have to pick a minimum of 5 subjects, and you must get the passing grade in obviously Bahasa, and I think it's history as well. So that's the situation, that's a requirement of the government.
Okay, thank you, Dr. James. I think that would have answered Miss Jessica Fu's question as well. So the next is okay. So they are asking about how successful has been students admitted to the partner university track for medicine, especially.
Okay, so 3 years ago, we got foundation accepted to our partner track, 2017, nearly 4 years ago. So the first students are now beginning to go on partner track. And I do try and keep contact with them. Obviously, they start using the email address of the partner university. We have one who's doing partner track for biomedical science in Strathclyde in Scotland. She did 1 year in foundation, 1 year biomedical science in IMU, and now she's going to complete a 4-year degree in Strathclyde. So she's in the 3rd year of her degree in Strathclyde now. She just joined after quarantine there. So one of the advantages of foundation is some of our partners, Strathclyde and Dundee, are accepting year 1 as equivalent to, or are accepting foundation as equivalent to their year 1 of their degree. So you can do foundation and a 3-year degree here in Malaysia, or you can do foundation, 1 year here and 2 years abroad. So again, 3, and get a 4-year UK degree. So they seem to be doing fine. I don't as yet have any feedback from those who've gone on partner track for medical dental. Maybe Kana, you know some, but I haven't heard anything wrong. I mean, the reason students don't do well on partner track, first of all, you need high grades. So most of the students who go on partner are high achievers. So academically, it's not an issue. The reason partner track doesn't go well is because you made a bad choice, you're homesick, or you don't like the country in question, etc., etc. And sometimes students who don't like partner or things don't go well, they can apply to revert back to local track. It's not guaranteed, but we haven't turned anybody away. So, but there's no evidence that foundation students on partner track are doing badly or anything like that. But I will try and track some down for you. But think of it this way: after you go on partner, when you go on partner, you've been doing medicine for 2.5 years. So if your medical grades are sufficient and equivalent to the other students in medicine who came in through other pre-U, your foundation has faded off in the distance. It's 2.5 years ago. So it doesn't carry through. It's based on your grades you're getting in semesters 4 and 5 in medicine. And that's the key metric. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dr. James. Okay, there's another question on chemistry syllabus. Okay, so does FIS chemistry units only focus on organic chemistry?
No, it has inorganic, organic, physical, and general chemistry. So the modules are based on the A-level chemistry syllabus. Kana teaches biology. She knows how much, if you do biology 1, 2, 3, and biosciences, you've done almost more than A-level biology. In the case of chemistry, if you do chemistry 1 and 2, you'll probably do, it's hard to tell, about 60 to 70% of A-level chemistry course. And if you take chemistry 3, a lot more. So if, for example, the Dean of Medicine likes students to have taken chemistry 3, it's not a prerequisite, but it makes the first few semesters of medicine easier. Obviously, pharmacy, please take chemistry 3. Don't avoid chemistry 3 if you want to be a pharmacist. Talk to the buddies about that. But no, chemistry 1, 2, and 3 syllabus is pretty much matched to A-level. And frequently we have to do a matching of our syllabus against other pre-U courses, international ones that we've never heard of. So we constantly do a mapping. So it's A-level STPM based.
Are most of the lecturers from other countries? And another question is the class size for foundation in science.
Okay. No, I'm the only Masale on the course. Everybody else is local. So when you go onto your degree, we have lots of international faculty from the UK, from America, from Australia, South Africa, Indian subcontinent, people from all over. And that's common in most universities. It is, after all, the international medical university. I am currently the only international staff in foundation. The reason for that is most of you, part of the international students, have come from the local schooling system. And my colleagues like Ms. Kanaga here are very familiar with that. They've gone through it themselves. They know the mindset and the learning skills and the level of those courses, so they can match into it. I obviously never went to school in Malaysia. So when it comes to course design and articulating from school into foundation and forward onto UG, the foundation staff are excellent at that, and they're very well informed. As I mentioned earlier, foundation teaching is a special type of teaching where you have to combine school-based teaching and learning to university-based lecturing and learning and gradually change your mindset. So the staff, my colleagues in the department, are excellent at that. And again, you should talk to some of the buddies and the current students to get their perspective on the teachers. It's very important for us that you do progress and you're well mentored. Sorry, Kana, I lost the other point. What was that one?
The class size in foundation
Oh,
in
class
science?
size. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So the class size, so depending on the intake, last year, the March-April intake was 200 students. The July one is 100 and the September one is 100, and hopefully all going well, we have similar numbers. So when you're in a lecture, let's say it's face-to-face, you're in a big lecture hall with 200 students. So you have to keep yourself up to date and awake and don't sit at the back on your phone. And then it's broken down into smaller tutorial groups of between 40 and 50. So each 2-hour lecture in each subject, biology, for example, will have a 2-hour tutorial. So we might have 5 or 6 tutorial groups. So you'll get more personalized learning there. Also, we have problem-based learning sessions, group learning. If you need specific help, if you say, I really don't understand this chapter of organic chemistry, I need to talk to the teacher, you can arrange a time to see the teacher and they will do their best to help you with it. Obviously work out the solutions first to speed up the process. But if you continuously need to see the teacher for extra tuition because you're very weak at that subject, then you should consider getting some private tuition to support you in that. Most students don't require that. So, but with the best will in the world, we will support you. But given that we have 400 students and a very high teaching load, we focus most of our energies into the core lecturing, tutoring, practicals, and projects.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. James. I think that's a very important question. The next one. What is the difference between FRS in IMU and FRS in other colleges or universities?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. So I have been in charge of a pre-university course in another university. The Foundation in Science program is designed by the university itself. So the standard of teaching and the standard of particularly assessment and exam is an internal matter, but obviously it's approved by the MQA, etc. So what I would say is that we constantly monitor the students' progress in our undergraduate courses. So if we found that foundation students were becoming weak in chemistry, they were doing badly in pharmacy, we would make adjustments to the foundation chemistry course. So it's a key feeder into our degrees, and we're constantly checking that it's working well. If you're coming from a foundation course in another university, I'm sure it's very good. I'm not going to say anything critical about it, but it hasn't been designed. Sorry, I'm getting ring on the door. It hasn't been designed to feed into our course. So it's not bespoke. It's not tailored for our courses. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's just not the ideal foundation program. Okay?
Okay, Dr. James. Is FRS applicable specifically in Sunway University?
Can you use our foundation course to go to Sunway?
Yeah.
Yes. We had a student who actually did foundation in science, a very high achiever, and he decided he was 50-50 medicine or computing science, and he left us to do computing science in Sunway. So yes, it is accepted in Sunway, but that's not, we don't have a formal agreement with Sunway. That's up to Sunway themselves. They could arbitrarily decide not to take them. But of course, in the current environment, everybody wants to have students in their university. So yes, you can, but I can't answer that. Sunway has. So what you do is you write to someone in Sunway into the degree you're thinking of, whatever it might be, business or whatever's engineering, whatever Sunway have. Say, if I do foundation in science in IMU, what CGPA requirement do I need to enter your course? And is there any subject-specific grades? So get it in writing from them. Me just saying it here now doesn't mean it's definitely going to happen. Get it in writing from a representative of Sunway. So it's your future, it's your education. Don't take it on a kind of a can lab basis. It's okay, come along and talk to us. Get these things in writing. It's very important for you.
Thank you, Dr. James. So I would remind students for any other further questions or further clarification on requirements, you can download our brochures, and we also have a virtual open day this Sunday, 24th January, 10 to 4. So please join us for more information on registration and all. Okay, so you also have waiver. So Dr. James, let's carry on for another question. We have 5 more minutes left. Okay, so I don't have SPM result, but I have SVM. can I apply to this university? SVM, I think, is the vocational.
Oh,
So can I
okay.
apply?
That's a question I don't have. That's a new one on me. You will have to, maybe we can just put admissions up. Can someone type admissions in the chat? admissions@imu.edu.my. Maybe you can type it there, Kenna, and share it. Can you ask the admissions department that question? That's a good one. I'll have to find out about that. I'm sorry, I don't have it. So if there's anybody from admissions present, they might want to join, but we can definitely find that out and get back to you. So CC me on the email as per my email, and I'll get you the response to that. I'm sorry, I don't have I've never been asked that question before, but I do want to learn more about it.
I think, we can loop in admissions later. So there's another question about syllabus again. Mathematics syllabus, how is it like? Will I be able to cope if I do not take AdMaths in high school?
Okay. So great question. In order to get an A in maths, it is dovetailed in with the AdMaths course. However, we have lots of students who don't have IGCSE or SPM AdMaths or have a low grade in it, and they do fine. They pass the maths, or they get a B or a B minus, or sometimes they get an A. Hopefully they're good at it. So students who have a weak grade in maths don't typically fail the course more than others. However, if you want to do dentistry where you require a B average in maths 1 and 2, you can drop statistics in semester 3, then you would really have to pick up your maths learning. So not doing AdMaths doesn't necessarily mean you're bad at maths. It just means you didn't do AdMaths. So you will have a slightly higher step to take from your ordinary maths in IGCSE or SPM up to the level of maths in foundation. So for the first few weeks, you just have to work that little bit harder on your maths, but students do this all the time and do very well. If you're weak at maths and you're terribly worried about the maths 1 and 2, then the key is to work hard on your assessments. You'll get a midterm assessment, which is a test, 25% of your assessment, and that will give you an indicator of where you're going with your maths. If it's going good, you get an A or a B, fine, keep going on track. You've made the transition from school maths to FIS maths. If it's a disappointing grade, a C or lower, then you need to recalibrate, maybe get some assistance, extra tuition in maths, or figure out where you're getting wrong. You'll get feedback on your test and fix it. So it's all very transparent. So you will have information that will directly inform you of that before it's too late. That is, before you get to the end of semester exam and potential disaster might strike. We do also have a reset for maths for all the exams as well. So we have students who have weak maths but are great in other subjects, and their CGPA is great, but their maths grades are low-ish, let's say B minus, C plus, and they make it to medicine and pharmacy and biomedical science and Cairo, etc. So it's not a huge handicap. You just have to be prepared for working a little bit harder than your peers.
Okay, thank you, Dr. James. I think one last question here. Can I still get enrolled into medicine in IMU with A levels instead of FIS?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. The entry requirements for A levels is given in our minimum entry requirements. You can request it from admissions. I think, don't quote me on this, but it's an average of B in biology, chemistry, maths, or physics. So you must have biology, chemistry, and then one other subjects at least, which is maths or physics. And I think, it changes from time to time, but I think it's a B average in those. So the answer is yes. We also have students who've engaged in A-level and they've been disappointed. They've got a C or a C in chemistry, C in biology, or the grades were not sufficient. And they've either left A-level halfway through or completed A-level and been disappointed because it wasn't conducive to their learning style. And they've come to foundation and they've done great because they prefer the semester-based assessment exam system. And we have buddies. I have one mentee who did this, and she can express the reasons why she thought foundation was better. Foundation is not better than A-levels. It just suits some people better. They're both excellent qualifications.
Yes, Dr. James, you're right. Okay, I think it's end of the session already. So I would like to remind everyone, those who attended here, we have an virtual open day this Sunday, 24th January from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So please join us and remember to register at www.imu.edu.my/open-day. Okay, so the brochures are here for you. So if there's any questions, you can further ask us on open day. Admissions will be there, and all the lecturers will be there as well. So Dr. James, would you like to end the session as well? Is there anything that you want to see? Yeah.
No, just thanks for really great questions. You're all very much on the ball. And be safe at this difficult time. And don't be worried about online teaching and learning. If it does happen later this year, as I say, our current students are doing fine. And we will welcome you and look after you and get you hopefully to your chosen degree program next year. The progression rate is no lower this year given online teaching than it was in the previous years. So while it's difficult, it's not an insurmountable problem, and my colleagues in the undergraduate programs and particularly in the foundation programs have done a fantastic job with their online teaching. Thank you for your time, and I hope we were clear in elucidating the answers to your questions. Great questions. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.